Today, we're going to explore a kind of medicine that you won't get from a pharmacy and that wasn't created in a lab. Nope, this comes straight from the forests of Brazil, bottled by hand using wisdom that's been passed down for centuries. We are talking about the Garrafada. I mean, just think about that for a second. This one question really gets to the core of what we're talking about today. It kind of pushes us to see healing not just as some modern invention, but as this deep, living connection between us and the natural world, a tradition that's been kept alive for generations. So what exactly is a Garrafada? Well, at its heart, it's this really potent infusion. It's a specific mix of plants, barks, roots, all steeped in a liquid and then bottled. And look, this is way more than just some folk remedy. It is a cornerstone of popular medicine in Brazil, and it's used for literally everything, from just keeping your body strong to treating specific sicknesses. So what exactly goes into these bottles? Well, the answer is found in nature's own pharmacy. Let's take a look at some of the incredible ingredients that make up this living apothecary. The sheer variety of plants they use is just astounding. We're drawing from a demonstration by an indigenous cacique, or chief, and he walked us through his process. First up, you've got something called pau tenente. It's a type of wood they've traditionally used to help manage things like diabetes and high cholesterol. And this really shows a key idea here. These plants are often unbelievably versatile. Take carqueja, for example. It's not just for one thing. It's kind of a go-to remedy for a whole host of problems. We're talking migraines, stomach issues, liver problems, you name it. Now, some of these plants are used for very serious conditions. Graviola, which you might know as soursop, is a really powerful example. According to the traditional knowledge that the cacique shared, it's believed to help with weight loss and even in fighting cancer. Now, he's very clear to point out that this belief is related to the very early stages, and it's absolutely not a substitute for modern medical treatment. And you know, it's not always about some super rare, exotic plant. Even the bark from a regular old cashew tree is an incredibly powerful ingredient. They value it for its anti-inflammatory and anti-diabetic properties. It's a perfect example of finding medicine in the things you see every day. This traditional knowledge also covers our mental and emotional health. Mulungu is a really important plant they use as a natural calming agent and to help with high blood pressure. It just goes to show how holistic this whole approach to health really is. And you gotta love this part. A lot of these plants have names that tell you exactly what they do. Quebra pedra. That literally translates to stone breaker. So you can probably guess what it's used for. It's the main remedy for kidney stones and just keeping your kidneys healthy. And we're not just talking about using one or two herbs here, not even close. In the demonstration we're drawing from, the cacique combined, get this, over 20 different plants into one single garrafada for general health. I mean, just imagine that. It's like a complex botanical orchestra, and every single ingredient has its own part to play. Okay, so you have all these amazing ingredients. How do you actually turn a pile of roots and barks into medicine? Let's dive into the art and, really, the science of how a garrafada is made. The process itself is just so elegant and time-tested. The plants get combined in a bottle, you add the liquid, and then you add the most important ingredient of all, time. The mixture is sealed up and just left alone for 24 hours. That gives all those medicinal properties time to slowly release and combine into something powerful. And the choice of liquid you use is a perfect example of how practical this tradition is. It just adapts to what you have and who it's for. Got tap water? No problem. Just boil it first to get the impurities out. Thinking of using wine? Okay, but you have to think about the person's condition. You'd avoid sweet wine for someone with diabetes, for instance. It's just smart. And the dosage is just as versatile as the ingredients are. If you're treating an active sickness, it's a steady regimen, a little cup 3 times a day. But it's also used to prevent illness, almost like a weekly tonic to keep the body strong and just maintain good health. And that idea of prevention, of strengthening the body just to stay healthy, that points to something much deeper. A garrafada isn't just a bottle of medicine. It actually represents a whole different philosophy of what it even means to be well. And this, right here, is the absolute heart of that philosophy. You can't just treat a physical problem by itself. In this worldview, real healing means you have to address the body, the mind, and the spirit, all as one connected system. So where does all this incredible knowledge come from? Well, it's not from textbooks. It comes from a deep cultural practice of just observation. It's a kind of science that's based on paying really close attention to the world around you and learning from it directly. And this shows us one of their most powerful methods, learning from animals. It's actually a practice that modern science calls zoopharmacognosy. They basically became students of nature's original pharmacists. They watched what a lizard eats after a snake bite or how a monkey treats its wounds, and then they applied that wisdom themselves. Now, this knowledge is ancient for sure, but it is not frozen in time. The story of the Garrafada is all about survival and adaptation. It's this perfect mix of ancestral legacy and modern ingenuity. Yeah, the history of the Garrafada is really a story of smart adaptation. Originally, they were made in bamboo containers. But then they saw the Portuguese using glass bottles and had this aha moment, realizing it was a much better way to preserve their medicine. So they adopted the new technology without losing any of that ancient knowledge. And this isn't just ancient history, it's a living, breathing tradition. The cacique himself shared his own personal story about using a garrafada that his uncle made for him to successfully lower his high cholesterol. It's not theoretical, it works for him right now. And that really shows why this practice is so much more than just a historical curiosity. For so many people living in remote communities, miles and miles away from a modern clinic, this knowledge isn't a choice, it's a lifeline. It's their primary, and sometimes their only form of healthcare. And you can see how its use just adapts to whatever is needed, from an intensive treatment plan to a weekly preventative, to even being made safely for children. It's a complete system of care for the entire community. So all of this leaves us with one final question. The Garrafada isn't about rejecting modern science, not at all. It's a powerful reminder that some of the most profound medical discoveries might not be waiting for us in a lab. They might have been here all along, just hiding in plain sight, waiting for us to simply pay attention. So the question is, what other wisdom have we forgotten to look for?